So today we'll be talking about Sevon Suzuki. Now, Suzuki is a Canadian environmental activist. Now, who is an environmental activist? Environmental activist is a person, or they are like people who work towards making nature a better place, who work towards preserving nature, advocating for the preservation of nature. They speak up about why it is necessary to preserve nature, about and take measures themselves to protect nature on their own. Okay. So Suzuki is a Canadian environmental activist, speaker, television host, and author. She made this inspiring speech. Which inspiring speech? The inspiring speech that we'll be reading out in a moment at the in the Earth Summit at Rio de Janeiro in 1992. So when did she make this speech? She made this speech when in 1992. And how old was she when she made this speech? She was only 12 years old. Okay, so we'll begin reading her speech, the speech she made at Rio de Janeiro in 1992 when she was 12. Okay, so these are her words. Hello, I am Sevon Suzuki speaking for ECO, the Environmental Children's Organization. We are a group of 12 and 13-year-olds from Canada trying to make a difference. Vanessa Suti, Morgan Giesler, Michelle Quigg, and me. We raised all the money ourselves to come 6,000 miles to tell you adults you must change your ways. So, I just told you what an environmental activist is. They work towards making nature better. They, uh, they, they speak, they advocate for the preservation of nature, and they themselves also speak and take measures to preserve it. So, when she's just 12 years old, she speaks up and along with uh, other 12 and 13-year-old children from Canada, she goes. And who are these children? These children are Vanessa Soti, Morgan Giesler, Michelle Quigg, and her. And me that is Sevan Suzuki. Now all these children, they raised money to come 6,000 miles. So they traveled 6,000 miles only to tell the adults that they must change their ways. Now this is what an environmental activist does. Coming here today, I have no hidden agenda. What is a hidden agenda? Hidden agenda is a sort of hidden plan. Okay, so he's telling she has no secret plan or no hidden like scheming. She was not scheming about anything. Okay, so I am fighting for my future. Losing my future is not like losing an election or a few points in the stock market. I am here to speak for all generations to come. So she says here that she hasn't come here with some secret plan in her mind. She went there rather to fight for her future. And she mentioned specifically that losing her future is not like losing an election. So it's more serious than losing an election, and more serious than losing a few points in the stock market. So she is elaborating on why her situation is worse than losing an election or losing points in the stock market. I am here to speak for all generations to come. So she's here to represent all the generations of the future. And she speaks on the behalf of the starving children around the world whose cries go unheard. So this is a very powerful speech. She's invoking all those people, or rather she's calling all those people out, and she's speaking up for those people whose voices cannot be heard. So she's talking, or she's speaking for those people whose voices cannot be heard, who are not heard, who don't have their own voice to speak, and who don't have the power to be heard. So she, as a representative of all those people, she's here to speak up for them. And she says it in her own words. I am here to speak for the countless animals dying across this planet because they have nowhere to go. So she's representing not just those starving children around the world whose cries go unheard. She's also here to speak up for the countless animals. So she's talking about every part of nature, not just human beings. She's talking about the animals who are dying because of environmental change. Now, we cannot afford to not be heard. So, she specifically mentions we cannot afford, that is, we cannot, there is no possibility that, or it is not feasible for us to not be heard. I'm here, I'm afraid to go out in the sun now because of the holes in the ozone. So, first she says that she needs to be heard, she demands to be heard, and then she lists out all the reason why she wants to be heard. The first reason is she says that I'm afraid to go out in the sun now because of the holes in the ozone. So the pollution and the environmental disasters have been such that now she's afraid of the holes in the ozone, and she's afraid to go out in the sun, the most basic of things. I'm afraid to breathe the air because I don't know what chemicals are in it. So she and all all children her age at at that point, and even now rather, they are in such a condition that they are scared to even breathe. So their condition is so pathetic that they don't even have free air or fresh air to breathe, or uh, or a UV rays free sun to bask in. Okay, next we'll move on. I used to go fishing in Vancouver with my dad until just a few years ago when we found the fish full of cancers. So she's citing an example of one of her childhood experiences. So she tells the people who are hearing her speech that she, along with her father, they used to go to Vancouver to fish, and that was until a few years ago. So when she was little, when she was very small, she used to go there with her dad for fishing. But a few before, like I guess a few years would be max to max 4 to 5 years. So within the short span of like a decade or so, she's 12 now. So within a short span of a decade, the the in the Vancouver, the oceans and the lakes and all of the fishes in the lakes were found full of cancers. And what is this the result of? It's obviously the result of pollution. Okay, now and now we hear about animals and plants going extinct every day, vanishing forever. So now she's talking about how animals and plants are going extinct every day. That is, they are an extinct. Obviously, it means vanishing forever. That's something that does not exist anymore. An example would be a dinosaur. In my life, I have dreamt of seeing the great herds of wild animals, jungles, and rainforests full of birds and butterflies, but now I wonder if they will even exist for my children to see. Did you have to worry about these things when you were my age? Okay, so she's saying that her dreams are very very normal, something that should not be a dream, that should be a reality. She's saying that she dreams of seeing great herds of wild animals. So she wants to see wild animals, jungles, rainforests, and she wants to see all of this full of birds and butterflies. But poor child, she thinks, but now I wonder if they will even exist for my children to see. So imagine her plight, imagine her condition, that she has to sit and dream about having a world where wild animals can exist freely, where rainforests and jungles still exist. She at the tender age of 12, she is worrying about her children not being able to experience these things. And she rightly points out, she says, did you have to worry about these little things when you were my age? So she's addressing the adults present in the conference, and she asks them that if they now realize the impact, the level of impact their actions are having on the environment. Okay, so we'll move on. All this is happening before our eyes, and yet we act as if we have all the time we want and all the solutions. So the main point of her speech, she's listing out, and she's telling you what is going on in the world. Then she's also pointing out how the world used to be, and she is also pointing out how she's scared, and how she thinks that the world is in how she envisions the world will be. Okay, and she points out all these things, the past, present, and future, in order to address the problems that are currently existing and the solutions. So she's saying that all of the problems that she's mentioned, these sound very simple, but these are really serious problems. And she's saying that all of this is happening before our eyes, and yet we act. So we are acting as if we have all the time in the world. but in actuality we have no time. And so she's taking a step forward and she's telling you, okay, we don't have time, so we need to get to the root and find some solution to these problems. And then she says, I'm only a child and I don't have all the solutions, but I want you to realize neither do you. So the 12-year-old girl, she's telling you that she doesn't have all the solutions, and she acknowledges that she's a child. But I want you to realize neither do you. So she's trying to tell you the problems that she's spoken about, they are not minor problems. They are major problems that are existing and that will continue to impact not just the life of the child who's speaking, but also the adults who are listening. So she's trying to remind you, or she was trying to remind the people, the adults in the conference, that even they don't have all the solutions. So it's high time they try to find the solutions, just like she is trying. I hope I'm clear till now. You don't know how to fix the holes in our ozone layer. So she's saying, she's addressing all the problems that the adults have no solutions for. You don't know how to fix the holes in our ozone layer. You don't know how to bring salmon back up a dead stream. Now, what is a salmon? Salmon is a fish. So she's saying that the adults, they can neither fix the holes in the ozone layer, they can, nor can they bring up a fish that is already dead, bring salmon back up a dead stream. So the stream is dead because it is full of cancers. So she can't bring a salmon back to that cancerous lake. You don't know how to bring back an animal now extinct. She then mentions how an animal which was once there and no more, you can't, the adults, even with all their maturity and all the things that they boast about, cannot go and bring back the animals that are extinct. And you can't bring back forests that once grew where there is now desert. If you don't know how to fix it, please stop breaking it. And lastly, she mentions that not just all the animals, fishes, and the ozone layer, she's also saying that you, with your deforestation, because human beings, they're constantly clearing lands, and there are numerous problems that are going like environmental problems that we are facing currently, that one of the major ones being deforestation. All the trees are being cut down and there's ozone layer depletion. And the main fact that all of us have to acknowledge is that all of these have a root. They all originate from somewhere. And I think deforestation is one of the main causes of all the disasters that are happening. And she mentions this at last. She says that, regardless of how much you pretend to care, how much you say that you will fix things, the fact is that you can't even bring back the forests that once grew where there is now desert. So she's saying that, if you can't fix it, the least you can do is not destroy it. Let it remain. So she wants the adults to understand what the problems of what the environmental problems we are currently facing, and she wants them to uh, act accordingly. She wants them to be aware. She wants the adults to be aware and prevent themselves and refrain and stop themselves from taking or making measures or taking such actions that contribute to this disaster. Okay, I hope I'm clear. Here, you may be delegates of your governments, business people, organizers, reporters, or politicians, but really you are mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, and all of you are somebody's child. So here she's saying that you may be representatives of your government, you may be business people, you may be organizers, reporters, politicians. So she's basically trying to say that, your careers may be different. You may be representing or belonging to a particular career or a particular walk of life, but what unites us all as human beings is that all of you are mothers and fathers, all of you are brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, and all of you are somebody's child. So she's bringing into notice, she's trying to tell all human beings that all of us are connected. We are all a family, and this world is our home, and it is our duty to protect our home. I'm only a child, yet I know we are all part of a family, 5 billion strong. In fact, 30 million species strong, and we all share the same air, water, and soil. Borders and governments will never change that. So she's again stressing on the fact that we're all one family, that our family is 5 billion strong, and that there are 30 million species, and that we have 30 million species in this world. And we all, and what unites us is that we share the same air, water, and soil. And no amount of borders and governments can change that. Okay. Mm, I'm only a child, yet I know we are all in this together and we should act as one single world towards one single goal. So she's saying that, I'm only a child, but even though I'm just a child, I know that all of us, we are together in this. And what will help us fix these problems is acting as a single unit. We should all work together towards achieving this goal. And what is the goal? To save our environment. Then she says, I'm only a child, yet I know if all the money spent on war was spent on ending poverty and finding environmental answers, what a wonderful place this earth would be. So she's saying that, she says that, she's only a child now, but she says that even though I'm just a child, I know that all the money the government is spending on war, and if the government spends all the money spent on war on ending poverty and to save the environment, this earth would be such a wonderful place. In my anger I am not blind, and in my fear I am not afraid to tell the world how I feel. So she's saying that, despite being angry, what happens, when you're adults, what happens is when you're angry, you don't have control over it. But she says that as a child, in my anger, I am not blind. She is not blind with rage. She knows what she's angry about, and she is justly so. Whatever problems or concerns she has, and the reasons she's giving about why she's angry, they are all very justified reasons. And the reason why she's scared, she's despite being scared, she's not afraid to tell the world how I feel. So she's very openly addressing her fears. She's telling you that this is what is bothering me, and I want all of us to work together towards making this environment a better place. Now we'll move on to the last paragraph. Well, what you do makes me cry at night. You grown up say you love us. I challenge you. Please make your actions reflect your words. Thank you for listening. So, what she's saying is that, all the actions of the grown ups that are resulting in these disasters and resulting in all these, deteriorated state of nature, all of this is happening because, she says that this is happening because of you. And she's saying that all of these problems, they are bothering her so much that, it makes her cry at night. She's so environmentally aware about what is going on. She says that you grown ups, she's addressing all the grown ups in the world because she feels that all of us belong to a single family. She says that you grown ups, you say you love us. And then she says that she challenges them. Please make your action reflect your words. So she's saying that, you say that you love us, but you do nothing to prove it. And what does she want the adults to do to prove their love? She wants the adults to fix the problems that are there in the world. And what are the problems that she openly addresses? She speaks about the ozone layer depletion, that is the holes in the ozone layer. She speaks about the extinction of animals. She speaks about the cancers in the lake. And she also speaks about deforestation, that is resulting in deserted lands or desertification. Okay, so I hope I'm clear in my explanation of this passage. You can contact me if you have any problems. These are the questions that are there in the list. I'll be sending it to you in WhatsApp. That way you can answer the questions as homework. Okay, now I'll move on to the vocabulary of today. So, what is an agenda? Agenda is a hidden plan. What does vanish means? Vanish means disappear. Next is rainforest. What is a rainforest? Rainforest is a dense forest found in the tropical areas of heavy rainfall. So, the tropical area of the world where heavy rainfall is experienced with dense forest, that is called the rainforest. Then, what is a salmon? Salmon is a large edible fish. Who is a delegate? Delegate is basically a representative. It's a person chosen or elected to act for or represent another or others, especially at a conference or meeting. Okay, thank you.